What's up, family? It is Caden with Urban Finance, and today we're going to be talking about why Marcus Garvey's dream did not come to fruition, or why he did not succeed in his endeavors. And before I jump into why he didn't succeed, I will give you a brief history of Marcus Garvey. And so Marcus Garvey was born in the island of Jamaica on August 17, 1887. He was born to a middle-class Jamaican family. They actually had a pretty good lifestyle. His father had land and property. Towards the later half of his father's life, unfortunately, he lost most of his wealth through some bad business deals, leaving the family almost broke, which caused a real huge strain on the family, because it was one thing if you were born poor. To go from a middle-class family to being poor was a bit of a disgrace. The good thing is Garvey did get a good education for someone of his stature, and he was always an adventurous young man. Marcus Mosiah Garvey was a political activist. He was a business person, an entrepreneur. He was always a journalist throughout his entire life. He even did a little bit of work in law school. And he was an amazing orator, and that is one of the things that he really became famous for or launched his career. In 1916, Marcus Mosiah Garvey Jr. moved to Harlem, New York, which was pretty much the epicenter of the black world at that time, and that was always his dream, to come to America. While in Harlem, he started the UNIA, the Universal Negro Improvement Association, which at its heights boasts about 4 million members. But it really did not start there. Garvey is also widely known for starting the Black Star Line, which was a global shipping company that focused specifically on delivering goods to Africans across the diaspora. Garvey was known for starting a lot of businesses like the Universal Printing House, the Negro Factories Corporation. He also started restaurants and various other types of businesses. It was often said about Caribbean people during this time that once they had 10 cents over a beggar, that they will start a business. And that was meant to be a derogatory statement, but as someone that is from Trinidad, I know that to be true, and also see it as a compliment, because we love starting businesses. It is what it is. Now, jumping into why Marcus Garvey's dream didn't come to fruition to the degree that he planned on it. While many of our scholars today love Marcus Garvey and his story and history, that was not true for the scholars, the black scholars during his time, most notably W.E.B. Du Bois. W.E.B. Du Bois' idea was that the talented 10s would be the people to usher Africans into the next age. And for him, Garvey did not fit that bill. In a lot of his writing, he would make derogatory statements about Garvey, trying to make it seem that his movement was purely a black Caribbean movement and not necessarily a black African American movement as well. Du Bois would soon to come to find out that the majority of the people that did make up Garvey's movement were actually African Americans that was frustrated with the times. And Du Bois, who now was the HNIC after Booker T. Washington's death, didn't want this newcomer encroaching on his territory. So he set out to destroy Garvey's movement. The fact that W.E. Du Bois actively tried to destroy Garvey's movement wasn't the only reasons for Garvey's not having success. It was just a part of it. And just a quick sidebar, today we see the same thing. Division and fighting amongst black leadership. Everyone's trying to carve out a territory for themselves. And it doesn't even matter if the people that they're trying to help get hurt as a result of it, as long as they can remain in control. And so that was a problem in 1916 and when Garvey and Du Bois was operating, and it's a problem today. And unless black leadership learn to put the needs of our people first before their own, then any movement that we start will probably meet the same results. The other part of it is that J. Edgar Hoover and the entire American government did not like the message that Garvey was preaching. And so the government actively tried to deport Garvey. There were several cases that were brought against Garvey by J. Edgar Hoover that attempted to deport him, but because of insufficient evidence, they were thrown out by judges. Obviously, this did not stop J. Edgar Hoover from trying to destroy his movement. There are a lot of things on record now about spies within Garvey's organization, people of African American descent who worked for the Bureau and that tried to destroy the organization. And so we see the same idea that we get from COINTELPRO, and I'm not going to go into that now. There were also a lot of people in Garvey's organizations that tried to line their pockets with the money that the organization brought in, and that were getting kickbacks for the deal. For example, one of the ships that they attempted to board was actually valued about $30,000, and they end up paying $120,000 for that particular ship. The person that went out to get their deal got a kickback, so they didn't have incentive to make sure that they get the best price. And so people in leadership lining their pockets is another reason for Garvey's organization end up failing. And we see that today as well. So the two books that you can read that I got a lot of this information from is A Negro with a Hat, The Rise and Fall of Marcus Garvey, and Emancipation from Mental Slavery. And I'll definitely leave a link to those videos below. But if you haven't already, please smash that subscribe button and like this video. And also, so just to summarize it, the three things that led to Garvey's failure was the government throughout the entirety of his success tried to actively destroy his organization and deport him because of the rabble-rousing he was causing amongst African Americans. The second thing, infighting between black leadership who thought that their idea was the best. And it wasn't just W.E. Du Bois, there were others that Garvey constantly fight with who disagreed with how he chose to advance the race. Some people would have liked to do it more politically, like W.E. Du Bois. And the third thing that led to the failure, or ultimately the fall of Marcus Garvey, was also the fact that individuals inside of the organizations were lining their pockets instead of focusing it on the success of the organization. So as I always say, thank you for watching. I hope this was informative. Love you and live your best life.